Hey there, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to folks who are joining today from various parts of the world. Now, to introduce the speakers of the day, we have with us Colin Palmer, who's a global leader, of customer success and is responsible for some of our larger customer verticals, ranging from food, packaging, pumps, machining, processing, and rotating equipment. He comes from a technology background, and his expertise is helping our customers optimize the usage of sales and service solutions. Additionally, and in the context of this event, Colin has been a sales development executive at Entytle, so he's well qualified to consult and help OEMs transition from reactive to proactive aftermarket sales and service workflows using Entytle. We also have with us JW Simmons, our sales development representative. He's spoken to hundreds of OEM leaders in the past 18 months that he's been with Entytle, understanding what works for them and what doesn't. He leads our prospecting activities and is at the forefront of our sales outreach and outbound activities, and comes from a SaaS background. He's incorporated several learnings from sales experience that he would be sharing with us today. With that, let me go ahead and hand it over to Colin and JW. All yours, folks.
All right. Thank you for the world-class introduction, like always, DJ. Yeah, so I do have a diverse set of experience. I do have a good subset of experience specifically doing cold calling. I've done it for Entytle. I actually hired JW and have trained him how to do it, and he has since then taken those techniques and passed them along to others as well. And I came from a recruiting background to where I did a lot of cold calling of finding candidates as well as finding businesses to work with. And so what we're going to talk today is about aftermarket prospecting and building out an aftermarket prospecting machine. So taking the best practices from different industries and applying them to OEMs so that they can increase revenue on multiple levels. And so key takeaways from today is when you look at it, aftermarket prospecting is it's difficult. It's really hard to do. There's a lot of heavy lifting, but with modern selling techniques, you can make it much easier. It's all about the people, process, and technology. You can look at it as the tripod. You need balance amongst these three critical items. If you wipe one of the legs out, obviously, then you'll fall over. So they all need to be in sync in some regards. And then when push comes to shove, you need to have the right people at the right time to be able to get this flywheel going. And so why are we talking about aftermarket prospecting today? Your aftermarket potential is huge. I mean, if you look at it, here's a subset of different stakeholders and different initiatives that they all have that they're all trying to accomplish. So looking at upgrades, updating service contracts, overcoming warranty extensions, selling more parts and services. And when you look at this, all this stuff is higher margins, typically 30 to 40% higher than equipment sales, or 20 to 40% higher than equipment sales itself. And it just kind of makes sense to reach out to these people. I mean, you're already doing business with them. It's kind of building off of a referral-based business. You can ask your friends to buy something from you, they're going to buy from you. The same thing, it's the same concept flows of if you're doing this with your customers, if you're doing a good job, then you're going to build customer loyalty. You're going to build long-term relationships. You're going to get recurring revenue from aftermarket, and this will also lead to new equipment sales for more aftermarket potential. So it just makes sense. And there's other opportunities for innovation as you grow and as you have new R&D, you have new offerings to give to customers, upgrade potentials, modifications, other parts and services. So that's why you should go after aftermarket, and that's why the potential is huge. And so when you look at it, I mean, this is a difficult feat to overcome. You have the little island that you are, your aftermarket team of 1 to 5, team to 1 of 20, depending on the organization that you're in. And you're against this giant complex install base. You have thousands of accounts, and those accounts have multiple pieces of equipment in them. And then you have the assemblies, the sub-assemblies, all the bills of materials, different parts and services that tie to it. So it's hard to actually start dividing this and coming up with an actual process of attacking it. You need to fight off the challenges of having visibility, knowing what's happened to the install base and what to offer them, and then having the right people and processes to actually do that. And so we're going to start hitting on that and looking at the proven, repeatable, scalable process that I've seen and used and that JW uses today. a four-step approach, of course, with sub-bullet points and context within that. But just starting here, it's ripening the prospect. So who is it that I need to go about reaching out to? Is it somebody that needs an upgrade or somebody that needs a service? If you look at the case of OEMs, or is it other different types of offerings? And what you can do is, if you have the technology, of course, use data and analytics to find and surface those different opportunities. And then I think most importantly, it's all about having the right dedicated team doing this. You need a focused group of people on prospecting. I'll reiterate that importance at the end of this, but just keep that in mind. The next is, who am I going to call? And in the most case for OEMs, it's some type of maintenance manager, could be a plant manager or some type of service manager. So finding that right person. For tech sales, it's about finding that transformational leader, especially for us, maybe somebody who has digital initiatives, for example, or somebody on the business side. And then warming up the patch. I still definitely 100% believe in cold calling. I don't think it's dead. So always do that, but also have other different types of communication. So omni-channel approaches, webinars like what we're talking about today to help educate people, creating LinkedIn blogs, hosting podcasts, sending out emails, just those different types of things add up to let people know and build out different types of awareness for you. And then last but not least, what to offer, having the right offer at the right time and right place, and understand where customers are at in their life cycle journey. And so I'm going to pass this off over to JW now at this point, and he's going to go in a little bit more detail on each one of these.
Awesome. Thanks, Colin, for the setup there. And thank you, DJ, of course, for the intro. Since I'm usually the one doing the intro, it's good to be on the other side of this and to get to speak to a little bit of this stuff. So as Colin said, everything, starts with ripening the prospect. You can see here this example of a particular upgrade for a fictitious piece of equipment, the Aqua Pro 1000. And the idea here is that the equipment that was currently being used is now obsolete or has been taken out of operation entirely. And so we've gone and created essentially, or found 616 different opportunities for a sales team to go and target. These can be different depending on the type of equipment, the company, and so on. You could have other examples with kits or different services, retrofits. It really just depends on the specific equipment and the company. So we can help build out these types of campaigns, looking at the complexity of the machines, the different size of the business. We can also, in doing this, can also help develop partnerships with dealerships, the channel partners, which, doing some of that can be very difficult. So once you have the right prospect, then we move on to trying to figure out who to call. So pretty much everyone struggles initially with trying to figure out who to call. It's not an easy thing to do. Most often we find that CRM data is incorrect. It's outdated. There are still contacts in there. There's still locations, stale numbers. And so what we do is try to incorporate some different tools to help refresh that data for ourselves in our work and with some of our customers. So kind of working from left to right on this, we have an example of LinkedIn. Super easy example, kind of target ourselves here and use Vivek, our CEO. On LinkedIn, we can filter by geography. We can filter by a particular company. You can filter by seniority level. There are tons of filters on LinkedIn to help you gather a hit list of contacts or prospects, if you will, that you want to go and go after. We also take advantage of Zoom Info. That's the next image there you see. They're a great service for us, a third-party data service. They also give you the ability to filter in for different things like company, headcount number, particular position. If you're trying to target a particular person in service or a particular persona type, you can find that out on Zoom Info. They also give you great information across phone numbers, addresses. Chances are if I've spoken with you on the phone or emailed you, there's about 99% chance I found information on ZoomInfo to get a hold of you there. So there's other resources like this. To name a few, there's IIR, Industry Select, Apollo AI, Rocket Reach. There's a bunch that could be helpful, and you can use more than one to actually cross-check the quality of the data across them. And then, of course, you can always just use Google. I grew up, during the boom of the internet, so for me, that's my first instinct. If I have a question, I go to Google. You can go look up the persona type that you're looking for at the company you're looking for, and find your way to that information across other sites. And you can also do the old school method as well, which is just find a phone number, find an address, stop in at an office. We've found calling into offices and speaking with a receptionist, or kind of just asking questions to find out who to chat with. People tend to be pretty open, and you can at least get a message delivered to someone if you need to. So once you know who your right prospect is and then who to call, you move on to warming up the patch. So again, working from left to right on this slide, the first thing you'll see there is a little sequence or cadence I put together kind of as an example that gives personalized touches via email and call, with some manual emails, and then calls, of course, if you're actually speaking with someone, delivering a personal touch on that. But it also incorporates some automation. So some automated emails that can help keep you top of mind, can help you educate your prospects and stay in front of them. And then another really important aspect, which has definitely become a bigger aspect of cold outreach in the last few years, is the social touches, where your target audience is. Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Where can you get your name and your company's name in front of them through a social touch is really important. So, most everyone's on LinkedIn. Connecting with them is great. Sending a follow-up message after a few days to send them something relevant, or let them know that you thought you found something that'd be interesting to them is a great way to build your network out and stay in front of your target audience. But really the key thing here is, depending on the goal of the campaign, to hit a certain number of touches per week over a certain number of days. So it really depends. We kind of aim for 1 to 2 touches per week for 4 to 6 weeks is what many of the sequences that I've built out for us include. We found that to work fairly well. So again, it really just depends on what your campaign is going for, how you build the sequence out, and how long it lasts. And then real quick, I'll touch on blogs and the banner on the bottom. So our marketing team has done a fantastic job distributing our content to our target audience. And we work together to write as many white papers, as many blogs, as many relevant LinkedIn posts as we possibly can, and get that out in front of your audience. It helps to soften them up. It's a way to get in front of them before reaching out and calling them directly or emailing them directly. And the hope is that they have actually seen this content before and are somewhat familiar with you, or at least know the name of who's contacting them. And then lastly, the banner on the bottom, depending on how you ended up here for this event, chances are you've seen this banner either on LinkedIn or on our website or in an email. And this is another great way to, get events going, but also make sure you get people to come to them, get people to come and engage with your content and know what you're all about. So lastly, the end of this kind of process is the what to offer. And the main thing on this funnel is 3 main things. You want to hit the right offer at the right time at the right price. There was some sort of original intent to reach out to the customer and understand where they were in a particular life cycle journey. It could be they needed an upgrade. It could be they needed a new service contract, or they were having a warranty expire, or they needed a parts kit. And so what we're kind of showcasing here, going back to that initial Aqua Pro 1000 upgrade opportunity, is that with an aftermarket CRM or an install-based intelligent platform, the upgrade campaign we shared will also have automated predictive opportunities, right? That have been created based on the algorithm, which gives you even more opportunity to reach out to your customer with a targeted reason. And the benefit of having this is that we can help automate these predictive opportunities, as well as give you a timeline for when to make those offers, which you can in turn take to a sales team and help them prioritize based on how overdue it is or when the last time that customer transacted.
All right, thanks, JW. I forgot, you got one more segment, technology. Apologies.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I thought I would take this quick. So last part, the process is complete. We know the right prospect, who to call. We've warmed them up, and we know what to offer. So probably wondering at this point, what technology can I take advantage of? What can I use today? What kind of tech investments can we use to get started? So one of the most obvious is a CRM. We use HubSpot. We have found it to be fantastic for sequencing and for contact storage. A lot of CRMs also give you the ability to dive into the analytics around a particular campaign, be it from the marketing or the sales side, and understand what's working and what's not between open rates on emails and response rates on emails. If you need to adjust things and do a bit of A/B testing to figure out who to get in front of and how well you're getting in front of them, rather. And then we've got third-party data tools. These are great for getting access to contact details. Kind of as I mentioned before, ZoomInfo is a great one. There's also SalesLoft, IRR, as I mentioned, Sales Navigator, Industry Select, and so on. And then intent data is great if you can get access to it. We're working with a third-party data source actually to build some custom intent information for us, but to give you a general idea of what are your prospects looking for, what are they actively trying to solve for, what problems maybe are they trying to solve for, and are they doing comparisons? Are they looking into other prices or products and what the ROI on those look like? And then lastly, for a sense of distribution, if you don't use a CRM, you can create an email service provider or use an ESP rather with a dedicated IP, which gives you the ability to outreach at scale and get in front of prospects in volume. You can mask those IP addresses so you can outsource them and, of course, create many domains for various events or services and offerings so you protect your primary domain. But all of which this technology, of course, can get you in front of your prospects. Colin, now back over to you.
All right. Thanks for giving me the cue. So JW talked a lot about the process and the technology. Now we just want to wrap this up with the people. And I have it broken down on two different styles, the style that we see all the time, the OEM breakdown and how they're built out. As you can see, they're all siloed. Each one of these stakeholders has some kind of different objective on what it is that they're trying to achieve here. I mean, you could have people just doing parts and service sales, or people out on the field, or you have people that are actually just selling the new equipment, so going after the big elephants. And I mean, none of these people really have any type of synergy when it comes to targeting each one of their prospects. They all go after it a different way. Typically, they're working through some type of silo database, a CRM, an ERP, spreadsheets, or field service tools, respectively, for each one of these. And they don't they don't set themselves up for an outbound outreach of being proactive. Whereas you look at the right-hand side, you have the software sales team, and they're all in sync. Looks like a pyramid here, but they're all after the same objective. The business development team at the bottom is going after and prospecting their meetings for their account executive to then take over and close those deals, of course, with the support of their sales manager. And so there's teamwork tied with this. They're working typically off some type of unified database, and they all have some type of proactive outreach to build a pipeline, and they're doing this at large volumes. I can speak for myself. I was doing hundreds of calls, hundreds of emails a day. I'd make personalized emails as well. I think JW can also relate to that, as well as his team, and on what they're doing. So it takes a lot of volume, of course. And where I'm going at with this is you ideally want to look at people with the soft skills to do this, because when you traditionally look at an OEM sales team and you have an order taker, you tell them to go out and do some type of solution-based sales or a value-based sales or benefits. They're not probably going to be as well equipped to do that as somebody in a different industry who's going out and prospecting, just mostly because they've been order takers. So it's always important to find people with that tenacity to go after and get it done. And so we've walked through the people, processes, and technology piece for it. We've led you to the water, and then I know sometimes it's actually hard to drink it because you have a giant flywheel of different types of change management challenges that you need to overcome in your organization to actually build this. And so that's where we've actually come up with this sales outreach acceleration service, because like you and several OEMs, is you want to win back drifting customers, you want to increase wallet share, and you want to be able to make different types of data-driven decisions. So you've invested into different types of tools, or maybe you're making complex spreadsheets, but really these objectives fall short because you don't have the people, process, and technology, and you're constantly trying to put out different types of fires. And so that's where we've come in. We've helped some of our customers get more out of the things that they've made, and have helped customers that didn't have a team to do much outbound prospecting themselves. And so this is where we come in and act as this glue in between and fill the gaps with people, process, and technology, depending on what our customers need. And just a few different approaches on how we've taken this is we've done it on first identifying what is that need that the customer wants. So building out a campaign or a pipeline, looking at people that, for example, that are drifting away, so haven't purchased anything for the past 5 to 10 years. Okay, we have a pipeline, we have a list of locations we want to go after. And some of the things we'll do is look at the account status. Is this place still in business? It's been 10 years. Are they still open or not? What kind of industry segment is it in? Is it industrial? Is it municipal? Is it an educational facility? What kind of location type is it? Is it end user or distributor? And then we've also actually have had a lot of success with one of our customers that had a mixed business style or go-to-market strategy of direct and channel partner. And we were actually able to unmask a lot of the channel partner locations that were covered by the channel partner. But when you took the address and did additional research, you found out that it was actually an end user location. So I take Colin's Pump Company and 123 Street, and I took 123 Street and put it in our data sources, and I found out that it was awesome municipal plant, for example. The things that we've helped out is actually doing the prospecting and lead generation itself. So we've enriched current customer data, as well as have found them new contacts. We've also gone through the process of sending out different types of email campaigns based off of the offering that they want to have. Is it creating awareness? Is it trying to sell the kit or an upgrade? And we've also done actual telephone calls into these locations. And with the emails and phone calls, we're validating if that person is there. Hey, we're reaching out to you, JW. I saw you were the plant manager, and do you have this piece of equipment? Yes, yes, great. Do you want to actually have a salesperson contact you, or do you want a sales rep to go out with you, or schedule a meeting for them? So we've done different types of things like this, and have done lead scoring as well. It's a similar approach that we have here at Entytle, as well as other technology companies. And then a new account prospecting. We've had a customer approach us on taking a list of leads that they have found and wanted us to do the calling and emailing to set up meetings for the regional sales managers. So again, we understand it's a hard process to get the flywheel going, but we do have a service to help those out there that are looking to move from a more or to a more proactive outreach. And so just wrapping this up here is aftermarket prospecting is hard, but if you use modern selling techniques, it makes it easier. So think about pushing a square wheel down the road. If you make it round, it'll obviously go better. It's all about the trifecta here, the tripod, people, process, and technology. They all work together. And when push comes to shove, always bet on the right people and find the right person. And so with that being said, if you are looking for a technology partner to find some of those gaps for you and provide full install base visibility, we do have a platform that does this, as well as automate different prospecting needs to identify that when's the right time and what's the right offering for customers, just solving visibility challenges as well as automated prospecting. And we do have a free trial here if you'd like to scan the QR code. I'll give you a second here. And then while you're doing that, the next thing I was going to do is just open it up for Q&A.
All right, folks, I think we've got questions coming in while you folks were going through the talk track. This is probably a simple one. My organization does not have a sales team, or I think they mean anyone on the sales team doing a proactive outreach. What would be a good starting point for us? Is it data? And this is just me paraphrasing it. Is it data? Is it people? Is it processes? What's the best place to start?
You want me
That's
to
a
take that,
lot.
Colin?
So I think you want it?
Let me take a stab. I was gonna say call Colin. He can get you started. No, and in all seriousness, I think good starting point is around people. It's around finding someone that can be dedicated to it. And I think, as the old saying goes, the best time to plant a tree is today. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Get someone focused on it, and see what kind of offers you can start to investigate into, and then start going through that process after you have a right prospect. Anything you'd add to that, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, it's really finding a level of balance of the people, process, and technology. I think some of it can be done without two of the others, but I mean, if you're just starting off and you don't have a proactive sales team, try and find some way to incorporate doing that initial proactive outreach. So I know most OEMs have some kind of sales team, either if it's inside sales, outside sales, or a combination of the two, but just try and carve out maybe 10, 15 minutes a day, first coming up with ripening the prospect and just trying to test it out on creating any sort of demand for your customers, or use your marketing team if you have a marketing team as well to do some of the outreach or awareness like we talked about with the omni-channel communication. Those are a couple of things that I would add on. Any other questions, DJ? You're on mute.
I don't know if we lost him, or you didn't get off
Oh,
mute.
sorry about that. My bad. My bad. All right. So yeah, we are at the allocated hour. Just one more question that probably we can address real quick. And that's the last one for today. What is the best way to handle outbound prospecting while managing part shortage and overbooked orders? I think it's a good problem to have. So what's the advice? I don't know if SaaS companies ever face this problem, folks, where we have more orders than we can handle for sure, because we are a product company, but industrial OEMs are different. So what's the suggestion? Do you keep building the pipeline? How do you approach it if you are in their shoes?
Sure. A lot of this has come up with COVID and the supply chain issues. So luxury of having this problem, not a luxury of actually dealing with it. So what we've done with a lot of our customers, or what others can do, is look at what you have available in inventory. It could be looking at things that you could sell immediately. So slow moving and obsolete inventory. We will work with customers to see where those parts would be applicable to, or if they actually purchased them in the past, and give them those types of offerings. And then with something like Entytle, you can actually use some of the analytics to look at future purchases on what they want to, what they should be buying relative to what they've been buying in the past, or what other customers with light equipment are buying currently, and we can help identify and move some of those dates from like a 3 month to year perspective to help them with that proactive calling. And of course, we did this with our customers and gave them the right scripts, or helped them come up with the right scripts so that they could get those orders in and know the timing of when they would have parts move in and out based off the supply chain. So there are things that you can do, but analytics definitely help out with that, and knowing what you have on hand and when you're going to get it.
Perfect. I think, yeah, we're 2 minutes over time, so we'll go ahead and call it a day. Thank you everyone who joined in, and look forward to receiving a notification, an email notification from us with the recordings and the presentation details. Thank you, Colin and JW, for taking the time out to talk about our processes and just generally laying out broader strategies for industrial OEMs. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Bye.
Thanks all.